Welcome back, guys. We got some more questions to answer today. So first off, we've got do you sand your primer before moving on to your paint? So this is actually an interesting question because the answer is it depends on the situation. Typically what I do in order to be safe, safe rather than sorry if you know what I mean, is I spray my primer and I give it time to dry, and then yes, I sand it so that I can make sure that it's good and smooth, that there aren't any imperfections that I need to deal with. And the sanding also creates a nice surface for the subsequent paint to bind onto. Alternatively, you can spray your primer and then within the recoat time, the recoat window, you can spray your color coats. Now that works as well, but it creates more risks because you don't have that added assurance of being able to sand it and make sure it's smooth. And additionally, if you do keep going like that, through your primer, your color coats, and your clear coat, you're creating a risk that the primer won't dry properly or something in there won't dry properly because you're putting so much wet on wet on wet. So sometimes I find that it's better, or usually I find that it's better to spray your primer and let it dry really nicely and then give it a nice sand down before you go to apply your next coats. Next up we have a question about how to get a smooth painted finish on wood. So it kind of it depends on what kind of wood you're using. Some woods have very tight grains and it's pretty easy to get a smooth finish on them. You just need to sand them really well, apply a sealer and go from there. Some have a lot of open grain. If you want a smooth finish on those, you're either going to need a lot of sealer and material to soak into that grain, or you're going to want to do some kind of grain filling beforehand. So I've got videos on grain filling with pastewood filler. You can actually use grain filler to accent your grain and stuff like that. So that's a good way to go about it when you've got something with that open grain on there. And then if you're talking about like cheap plywood and stuff like that with knot holes and whatnot, that's kind of a different story entirely. You're still going to need to do filling, but it's not going to be just a simple paste grain fill. It's going to be like patch filling. So with stuff like that, it gets a little more complicated. The other concern is sometimes when you spray a material, a paint or whatever on your wood, the grain can raise up and that can cause kind of a rough finish. So what you can do to avoid that is you can raise the grain beforehand and sand it off. It won't raise multiple times typically, that's not really how it works. So if you just mist it with water, or better yet something that evaporates quickly like methanol or denatured alcohol, wipe it down, let the moisture cause that wood grain to stand up, and then scuff it off of there, sand it back a little bit, should be good to go, and that kind of deals with that problem. Alright, last one for today. What kind of music do you listen to? So this is a good one for you guys as well. I listen predominantly to metal. I like guitars and stuff, obviously. I like piano, and I find that metal has a nice classical influence to it, at least a lot of the stuff that I listen to does. That being said, I also like pretty much anything with instruments in it. Honestly, I like rock. I like if Queen comes on, I'm definitely not changing the song. So mostly metal, a lot of melodic stuff. I don't really listen to like black metal or anything like that, but some power metal because I'm a geek like that. All sorts of stuff, thrash, and then yeah, pretty much rock music, a little bit of country here and there. It's not really my thing, but some of it's pretty good. Anything that's got instruments in it. That's about it. So how about you guys? Any bands that I should know about? What kind of music do you listen to? Say hi, Callie. Hi. Hi. No, not to me, to them. Callie doesn't like it when I make videos, I guess. Alright guys, I hope that helps answer some of your questions. Let me know about your music preferences in the comments section below me. And yeah, we'll call that a wrap. See you next time.